We skip them.
Greetings. Welcome, club. Hello, club.
Skips.
Let's go up and down.
All right. Welcome to Oakland Rotary.
Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats. The meeting has begun. Be respectful to the speaker. I repeat, please find your seats. Grab your drinks. Time to quiet down. The meeting has begun.
So the problem is, how do I get on this?
All right. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Oakland. As many of you know, Rotary started, 116 years ago. There are 42,000 clubs around the world in 200 countries. And Oakland is the third oldest club in the world, right? So we are so proud to be able to serve the city of Oakland and other countries and projects around the world. And I want to say hello to my Zoom friends, but I can't see them. Who's on Zoom? Welcome our Zoomers. We really appreciate you hybriding in. And for those of you in the room that can't make it in the ballroom, please Zoom in and join the Zoom crew. So with that, I'd like to introduce Julie Kowski, who is going to start our meeting with a thought for the day. Thought for the day.
Hi there, I am Julie Kowski, and for those of you who don't know it, I am the Director of Climate Partnerships for Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao, and I am also the official Rotary liaison for the Mayor's office, so you should keep my contact information available to yourself. My thought for the day comes from an editorial I read in the New York Times within the last week, which I hope you will all read. It's from the president of Wesleyan University, Michael Roth, and it's called "I'm a College President, and I Hope My Campus is Even More Political This Year." So I'm a Gen X, and I know there are some of my generational peers in the office, some older, few younger, but I am parenting some Gen Z children who have been active politically, and one of my sons was a freshman in college at Columbia University last year. So, and the first woman president of Columbia University lasted 1 year last year, which is sad. So Michael Roth writes about the generational and difficulty in communicating about challenging political topics. And he says, these discussions, like all authentic learning, depend on freedom of inquiry and freedom of expression. They also involve deep listening, thinking for ourselves in the company of others. The classical liberal approach to freedom of expression underscores that discussions are valuable only when people are able to disagree, listen to opposing views, change their minds. So I encourage you to read the article, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. We do have a goal in this organization internationally of being inclusive, and I wanted to remind everybody about our accessible elevator in this building, because some people are having trouble getting up the stairs, and I want to make sure that we help in any way we can to help anybody that's having some physical challenges to get up the stairs. And now we want to introduce visiting guests, please. So if you could stand up with your guest, make sure you say your name and your business or your calling, and introduce your guests, please. Kevin.
Hello. Hello, President Shannon. My guest today is Brenda Harbin Forte. I got to know Brenda when we practiced law together for a few years until her big promotion. That was when she was elevated, and that was to the beginning of a long, distinguished career as a Superior Court judge of Alameda County. She retired from the bench 5 years ago, and she did not slow down. As some may know, she has been very busy, among other things, trying to fix some things at City Hall. But now, I'm pleased to say that Brenda is standing as a candidate in November to be Oakland's next city attorney. Please welcome Brenda Harbin Forte.
Shannon, would you like to introduce your guest?
Well, sure. Laura is here from the CEO of Spectrum, who's our amazing part of our food insecurity champions in the Bay Area. So thank you very much for coming, Laura.
President Shannon, we have the honor of a visiting Rotarian, the president of the Piedmont Montclair Club, Michael Jackson.
Michael, welcome.
Who's going to talk with us about a very important event.
Yes, he is. Not now, but later.
We'll get there, we'll get there. Shannon, you have another guest here.
I have another guest, Vera.
Smattering of guests. Vera Hanush, the Director of Philanthropy for Alameda Health System Foundation, has come to see what we do.
Awesome. Vera, thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
President Shannon, Merlin Edwards, lobbyist. I'd like to introduce my guest, former Chief of Police for the City of Oakland, LaRon Armstrong. I met LaRon when I was working with the NAACP, and we still do some work with the NAACP. And LaRon is currently running for City Council for the City at Large seat.
Welcome. Bravo.
Thank you. CJ Hirschfield, happily retired. It's a pleasure for me to introduce a guest of our distinguished speaker today. The guest is Matt Davis, who is Chief Public Engagement Officer for the Port of Oakland. Welcome. And Danny Warren.
Welcome. Any other visiting Rotarians? I heard there might be another visiting Rotarian out there. Just Michael Jackson? Oh, great. Wonderful. Well, welcome to the Rotary Club of Oakland. Today's birthday acknowledgement. We have the birthdays of this month. And I don't know if Sid Zapperstein is on Zoom, but if he is, we should sing to him because it's his birthday today. So do we want to sing to our birthdays? Why not? How about to all the September birthdays? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Who is managing this?
My husband always says I go Southern whenever I speak, so forgive the accent. All right, so birthdays for the month. We have some nice cake. Thank you very much. So, nice time. Oh, here. How many of you, hold it up, how many of you have downloaded the Ignite app? All those hands that are not up. See this? We are turning off Club Runner, team. So how many of you use Club Runner? We have a database. We are very technical at Rotary. How many use a paper roster? We're not taking that away, but we are turning on our Ignite app. Tell us about it.
Marie. Hello. So you have to get the app from your app store on your phone. So if you have an iPhone, you can scan this and it will bring you to the app to download. If you have an Android, this will do the same. And then these are the screen captures step by step on how to get there. So if you need help with that, I will be here at the end and also at the beginning of next meeting, and I can help anybody get it on.
Thank you. We have technical support. Please not go on the There's another slide after that birthday.
that is just a little, well, hello, I see some of my Zoomers. Hello, Mark. Right. Oh,
Congratulations, Marie. I thought you actually got married, but just to embarrass you, she's getting married next month, and somebody sent me this and I thought she did get married, so I'm early congratulations and embarrassment. So stay tuned. Next slide. Okay, so one of the most important things we can do in Rotary is to share our mission and welcome new members into this club. So we call that magic, and our theme this year is the magic of Rotary. So we would like to welcome some new members to join this esteemed group. So with that, I have Keith coming up.
President Shannon, fellow Rotarians and guests, I have the pleasure today to introduce our newest Rotarian, Christy McAvoy. Sorry, Jack. Oh, okay, well, you guys can have that discussion later. Anyway, so Christy works at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory as an instructional designer for environment, safety, and health and human resources. She's a graduate of UCLA with a degree in sociology and an emphasis in organization and work. Two interesting notes about Christy is that she enjoys swimming, biking, and hiking. So Mark Rosen and the Fun and Adventure Club, we have a new member. And when she was a junior at Mills High School in Millbrae, Christy started the Interact Club for her school. So President Shannon, fellow Rotarians and guests, please welcome Christy McAvoy, our newest Oakland Rotarian.
Thank you so much. Interact. It might take a little time, but they come back. Now I'd like to introduce our second member, or now our newest member. Sorry, Christy. You're not the newest member anymore. Alita.
Thank you, Jack. Stephanie Boulder, Esquire. How many of you recognize her face? We do. President Shannon, my Rotary family and guests, it is my great honor and pleasure to join you in welcoming Stephanie Boulder back into Oakland 3. She's a family practice lawyer in Oakland, so if you're having a bad time in your relationship, please consider speaking with her first. Are you ready for two interesting facts about Stephanie? As a young child, she went to boarding school in Germany and Britain. And second fact, when she passed the bar exam, she was informed that her license to practice could not be issued immediately. Why not, you might ask? Had she not wondered why her father wore a trench coat and a fedora to work every day, no matter the weather? Any idea what he did?
Nope.
Seriously, were you listening? What do you think he... Thank you! He was a spy. For the next exciting episode in Who is Stephanie Boulder, do yourself a favor, make time to meet and reconnect with her. Welcome.
Stay up here. Here we go. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. So we have a couple of goodie bags for you, and we have some badges if we want to pin or get rid of the paper thing. And there's a pin on the back. So this is a quiz. I hope some of you know the answer. We're giving them a copy of the four-way test, which is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned, which is our Rotary motto. We have a roster, a handbook about Rotary. We have a book that one of our own Rotarians wrote, which is 100 years of the Oakland Rotary Club, which is fascinating history, and the four-way test. Welcome aboard. Did I forget something? Are we good? Thank you very much. Awesome. All right, after you become a new member in this club, we have you get comfortable and get to know us, and then we give you 3 minutes from the podium. 3 minutes. I know she's rehearsed, so I don't have to say 3. She's got her timer. To tell us anything you want. And so we would love to hear from Bonnie about Bonnie. Welcome.
Thank you. I have my own mic, President Shannon. Okay. I need space to roam. I can't be behind a podium. Could you pull up my slides whenever you're ready? Hi, everybody. I'm Bonnie Prestridge. I joined the club in the beginning of the year. And I, first of all, want to start by saying I'm so excited to be here. Joining Rotary has been one of the best things that I have ever done. Made new friends, feel so much more plugged into the Oakland community. I've got business referrals, clients from Rotary, just really enjoying it. So thank you to Shannon and David and Marie and Tom and Keith and Joe and Will and Isaac and Ruth, Anna Marie. There's so many of you. I'm going to forget everybody. Thank you for making me feel so welcome. I'll just start talking even though my slides aren't up. That's okay. Okay. So one of the reasons I ended up here is that I am a life coach for teens and young adults. So I help young people who are stuck, whether it's a chronic illness, ADHD, making friends, low self-esteem, whatever it is that's helping a young person have a hard time launching into life, having a beautiful life. I'm the person they come to help make that happen. And that's one of the reasons I joined Rotary, is because this club has such a strong youth services emphasis. So a highlight for me was, and hopefully you'll see a photo in a second, of jumping headfirst into Enterprise Institute. It's one of our club's flagship programs. If you haven't been, I highly recommend going. We take 60 high schoolers from Oakland to the woods, teach them personal development, business skills, and they just blossom. So what I wanted to tell you about is I'll start by telling you professionally how I got to where I am, how I became a coach. And maybe you'll see some of these photos at some point, maybe not. Awesome. So if you go to the next slide, this is a photo of my maternal bloodline. So baby Bonnie is on the right, and going from right to left is my grandmother, my mother, and my great-grandmother. I grew up in San Clemente in Southern California. Any San Clementians, Southern Californians in the room? One, okay. Had a pretty idyllic childhood, lots of family, but in my senior year of high school, I developed some really, really serious health problems, really bad chronic pain. I was in and out of UC Berkeley for 6 years. My health was about as bad as it could get. It was hard for me to function on a day-to-day basis. And it was through building community with other people with chronic illnesses and other people with disabilities that I was able to build a life. And so when I finally sort of survived and made it, I decided that I wanted to be the person that I wish I had had. I wanted to help other young people not have to figure out how to build a life on your own, but actually get some support. You can go to the next slide. And one of the cool things about my journey with a disability and building my business is I got to intern in Washington, D.C. for a year, and I got to hang out for 30 minutes at the White House with Barack Obama. It was the coolest thing ever. So what I learned is that having a chronic illness and disability doesn't have to ruin your life. It can actually be a pathway to great experiences and to the career, and then to Rotary, because it's because of my profession that I ended up here. Next slide, please. Okay, so when I'm not rotaring and working, some fun things about me. I love to dance. If you spend more than 10 minutes with me, you will learn that I am a dancer at my heart. I danced flamenco as a kid. This is a photo of me this summer teaching some friends how to flamenco at somebody's wedding. It was great. I'm currently learning how to blues dance. Any blues music fans in the room? Okay, any dancers in the room? Okay, I know Isaac for sure. Okay, so let's dance sometime. Next slide. And I'm a birder. I don't know what happens in your 30s if you get some kind of bird nerd hormone. I see CJ nodding. But yeah, this is a photo of me at Pinnacles National Park looking for condors. So as I told David, I have a zillion hobbies, but these are 2 of them, and I hope to do some of these fun things with you all.
Thank you, Bonnie. I have a new badge for you. You are now a blue badge. So whenever you see red badgers, please ask them about themselves. Don't wait for their 3 minute. There you go, dear. Nicely done. Awesome. And I can personally attest to her professional abilities because I've hired her before. She's awesome. All right, where are we? So, Rotary, thinking big, Polio Plus. Many years ago, some Rotarians were sitting around thinking, how can we impact the world and make a permanent change? And someone said, let's cure polio 30 years ago. And Rotary went off and almost accomplished that. I'm bringing this up today. Not only do we have a guest that is promoting an event from our sister club, but polio is back in the news. We had it cured to 2 or 3 cases in the world for years. And war has created a very large obstacle to inoculating kids for 3 years to cure this disease. So it's back. So with that, I'd like to introduce Michael Jackson, who's with the president of the Piedmont Montclair Club, and I want him to promote. And please, anybody play pickleball? Come on. Okay, I played once, and I'm gonna be doing this, and it's easy and fun. Okay, Michael Jackson.
Hello, Oakland 3. Hello, Zoomers, visual. I am Michael Jackson, the reluctant president of the junior chapter in Oakland, Piedmont Montclair. I am your little brother. I've come to big sister because I need, and we all need, and the world needs your help. We're going to make this really easy for you because I'm pretty sure, have you ever put off something that you should do? Yes. That in your heart you really want to do? Well, Shannon is going to send you an email today with a flyer and 2 QR codes. And you can feel really good about yourself and really brag to your grandchildren someday about how you finally killed polio forever. We just happen to have the place and the time, September 28th, pickleball for polio. If you don't play, don't worry, just go to sleep for 30 seconds. If you do play, you definitely can sign up and you can play. We can host up to 40 teams, that could be you, all levels, beginners, winning against beginners, etc. Multiple winners. We are the host. You are all the sponsors. It's now a 5170 event. The idea is use the event to raise lots and lots of money, put it all together, announce it to the world, and you'll be the biggest chapter, won't you?
Oh, thanks. Wow.
You'll be famous. Area 1 will be famous. 5170, of course, will be famous, and they're going to do all the media releases and publicity. Everybody wins. We're the bank. Okay, it's your money and you're going to get credit for it. We're just going to put it all together, total it up, probably announce it on World Polio Day a month after the tournament. So, the time is now. We'll wait for the email. When we all win, we'll raise a lot of money and have some fun. September 28th.
Great. Thank you, Michael. I need a partner. I need a pickleball partner, somebody that's much better than me, please. So now we have Tom Lamont with an announcement about a very important baseball game.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Shannon, President Shannon. Michael, I look forward to participating in your pickleball tournament, even though I've only played one time. I'm excited. So one of the directives I was given when I first joined the club was to put on an A's tailgate game. And that was Robert Kidd's instructions to me as a new member. And I did. And I did consecutively for many years. I think I might have missed one season in that last year. But typically we would have 2 games, 100 people at each game, and we had some great times. So I sort of scoured through some photos, and I made a little collage of some of my favorite photos, great memories of past games, and most of these are very recent. But, you know, on the top left, it's going left to right, it's being there with my family, you know, for a big win, 9th inning win. You know, seeing Isaac's beautiful family there and the new baby, and that was really special. 1989, that jersey says sweep on it, and I don't know if you guys know what that means, but the A's swept the Giants in 1989. And also, you know, with the tailgate on the second row, you know, my daughters on the right side, Georgia Richardson on the bottom left, Michael Belva and Gudrun Dibdal on the bottom, and Harold Lowe and his beautiful family also. And these are really special times that we had at these games. So I'm committed to doing one more game. Okay.
I did, but you know.
All right, I got it. So we'll be sending out an email with the QR code, and we are going to have a kick-ass tailgate. This is a final game for the Oakland A's, and I need you all to sign up. Tickets are $80. If you go online just to buy the ticket alone, it's $94. Our tickets are $80 plus a tailgate. If you want to get your own tickets, we will charge $25 to participate in our tailgate, and children 17 and under are free. Thank you, Shannon, and let's go A's for one last time.
Let's go. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tom. Catherine, we had a wonderful event that had a lot of magic.
Listen to me, but please wave to the camera, to Mark Rosen, who's on Zoom. Mark wants to thank everyone who put together and attended last week's fantastic picnic. And he wants everybody listed: Carla Betts, Ruth Stroop, Alex Polson, Dudley Thompson, Lorna Padilla, Marcus, Michael Malone, Wes Palmquist, Mark Miller, Jesse Bodel, Gary Flaxman, Sender Nemela, Jim and Linda Bosenecker, Tom Lamone, Jenny Ring, and hopefully we didn't leave out too many people. As importantly, everyone who attended the picnic brought their best party attitude, and it was wonderful. Old and new Rotarians, Rotaractors, current and past Hope mentees and their families, guests from as far away as Australia. Thank you, everybody.
It's amazing how much a picnic can mean to our fellowship. And we have one other opportunity to really get together. David.
Joe, put your phone down. Joe, tell me, what's your favorite thing about being an Oakland Rotarian? Speak loudly, because I don't think we got a mic for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Talk fast. Your favorite thing about being a Rotarian? Fellowship, thank you. Pass that mic to Merlin right back there. Merlin, what's your favorite thing about being an Oakland Rotarian?
The community service that we offer our communities, particularly with our young people.
Community service with you. Thank you, Merlin. Karen, where are you? Karen's over there. What's your favorite thing about being an Oakland Rotarian?
The opportunity to meet Rotarians from all over the world.
Now I'm going to make Jason run back over here to Christine. Run fast, Jason. Quick, because I'm short on time. Go, back. Christine, back there. There she is. Christine, what's your favorite thing about being an Oakland Rotarian?
I just love all the speakers we invite every week.
Oh my gosh, just think about it. Fellowship, friendship, community service, world service, speakers, education. Why are you depriving your friends of this wonderful opportunity? Don't deprive your friends. Tell them to come on September 26th to Boca Nova. We'll buy them a glass of wine or a beer. We'll give them some food. They'll get to meet Rotarians. They'll learn about the club. We need you to bring your potential members. People join Rotary because they get asked. You need to do the ask. September 26th, 5 to 7 at Boca Nova. Be there and bring a potential member. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Very important event, and it's coming right up. So please bring a guest. That is your ticket price. You need to bring a guest. This is not a mixer just for us. This is a membership opportunity to meet some new people. So with that, I'd like to introduce David again, to introduce our esteemed speaker. Thank you.
Fellow Rotarians and guests. It's my great honor to introduce a longtime friend of mine, a wonderful person. Seth Butner is very sad he couldn't be here to do this, and I'm happy I get to do it. Oaklander Danny Wan has served as the as the Port of Oakland's executive director for nearly 5 years. Before his formal appointment, he also served as both acting and interim executive director. Danny's community service goes back many decades, from his days as a public school teacher in Oakland and San Francisco in the 1980s. He received a Bachelor of Arts in Rhetoric and a Master's in Education from the University of California, Berkeley. Go Bears! And a Juris Doctorate from UCLA Law School. Go Baby Bears! In 1996, he was elected to the Board of Directors of the East Bay Municipal Utilities District, and in 2000, he was appointed to the Oakland City Council, becoming the first openly LGBTQ council member in Oakland. 2 years later, the voters of the 2nd District had the good sense to elect Danny to the City Council, where he kept the council on track on the budget, something we could use today. Danny, if you have some advice for them. Among many accomplishments as a council member, probably one of my favorites, and I know CJ's favorite, is that Danny led the successful bond initiative to fund the cleanup and capital improvements at Lake Merritt, the Oakland Estuary, and Lakeside Park. What you may not know is that bond measure also funded the construction of Fairyland's Aesop's Playhouse, where the first naturalization ceremony for children was held. Nothing stuffy or sedate for these 15 youngsters from 11 countries. They all raised their right hand and took the oath of citizenship in a magical ceremony, so thank you, Danny. From 2008 to 2012, Danny was a city attorney and risk manager for the city of Morgan Hill, where I would note he was also a member of the Morgan Hill Rotary. Been trying to get him to join Oakland since. Danny's work with the port goes back to the 1990s, when he served as external legal counsel for the aviation division. He was then deputy port attorney and ultimately the port attorney before assuming his current position. He's also a leader generally in the port world, serving as a member of the Board of Governors of the American Association of Port Authorities and the president of the California Association of Port Authorities. Danny's commitment to transparency, common sense, and strong ethics, as well as his focus on creativity and innovation, has ensured that the Port of Oakland remain a key local, regional, and state economic engine and job base. Danny lives in Oakland with his husband Oliver and their 1-year-old son Kai, who will soon be going to Fairyland, we've been told. To be clear, Danny not only oversees the port's real estate and shipping business, but also the newly named San Francisco Bay Area Oakland Airport. Danny is here today to give us an update on the rebranding efforts and the ambitious plans for the port's future. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to Danny Wan.
Hello, Rotary. Yes, this is why I love Rotary. You always get a response. You get smiles. You get screams and bells. Can I touch this? Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, I can't touch that. I know that. So this is such a wonderful crowd that I am so happy, and thank you for inviting me. And yes, David said that I had a little bit to do with, just a little bit to do with the Fairyland, and I never thought though that I would be bringing my child to Fairyland, and I look forward to doing that, because I do have a 1-year-old. Yes, I'm an old dad, but that is something that I look forward very much to doing. Thank you for inviting me to talk about the Port of Oakland, and specifically, I think the airport, in terms of what our ambitious plan is to really bring that resource that is our airport, economic resource, to up-to-date standard, and also even to expand the economic base that our airport brings to the city of Oakland and the region. But I wanted, before I go on to this, and also I understand that people want me to talk about the name change a little bit, I will do that too. But before I do that, I always start these talks with some themes about what it is that the airport is part of. What are we trying to do as a whole in the Port of Oakland? So I want to give you 3 words, and that is assets, competition, and expansion. And I know that a lot of you, all of you here are leaders of your field, and some of you do businesses, and some of you run organizations, and some of you have illustrious careers. You all know what assets, competition, expansion means. And this is what the Port of Oakland is in the business of. On your table, there's a couple of takeaways, and if you should take a look at that. First of all, I am amazed that this is probably the port's fault, that we really need to be out there telling people what a wonderful asset we have in the city of Oakland. Look at the map. That is the asset you have as citizens and residents of Oakland and the region. That is our asset. That is what the Port of Oakland owns and manages. It's not just the seaport, and I don't know how many people already know, well, you already know, but you may be amazed how many people in the city do not know the Port of Oakland also runs the Oakland International Airport, as well as the land in between the seaport and the airport. All those areas in the colored areas are in fact Port of Oakland assets. And we also own the land that's underneath the Martin Luther King Shoreline Park. So we actually do operate open space that is contracted to the regional parks. Why is this important? Because we own the most valuable asset in the city for the benefit of the city and the region in terms of land, in terms of our ability to use that land and leverage it for jobs. The Port of Oakland and all its tenants, Seaport and Maritime, and the people who operate restaurants and the commercial areas in between, generate about 100,000 jobs in the city and the region. 100,000 jobs. Those are jobs that would not exist if it wasn't for the Port of Oakland operating these assets. We generate about $212 million of state and local taxes. And I know in these times of regional and shortfalls in local budgets, that is crucially important. How does that get accrued? Well, each of our tenants, whether it's people who operate the terminals at the seaport, who transport all those goods through our ports, or whether it's the airport, Southwest Airlines and others who run their business at the airport, they all pay taxes based on property tax, income tax, and other things. And just an interesting fact in terms of direct payment to the city, just the parking at the airport alone, the people who pay to park at the airport, well, guess what? 18% of that, and soon to be more, I think, 18% of that is paid to the city in the form of parking taxes. That is annually $7 million right there. And so that's a direct payment. We also, the port also pays $20 million a year to the city in direct cash payments to support, among other things, Lake Merritt maintenance, as well as we pay for the fire services department to support that operations as well. But there's all total about $212 million of taxes to state and local agencies. The total economic impact of the port, that means how much business activity and job activity have we generate, people who generate the amount of businesses that's done because of the Port of Oakland is about $1.6 billion in the region in the city of Oakland. So that is our asset. We must keep that asset. But the second word, competition. Many people also do not realize. In fact, I'm very jealous of some of my fellow agency exec directors at East Bay Mud and BART and others, because sometimes they complain, oh my God, how hard it is to do business. I'm like, well, you shouldn't complain. You're a monopoly. You have no competition. You know, you raise my water rates, well, if I'm not happy, what do I have a choice? No. People who are not happy with us in terms of whether our seaport's too slow or it's too hard to get into the seaport, or people who fly our airport who cannot get a direct flight to a city they want, or that they think our service is not up to par, have choices. They have competition. And that is San Francisco Airport, that is San Jose Airport to a lesser extent. In terms of our seaport, people who are not happy with us can simply ship their stuff to LA and Long Beach and then truck their stuff up here. And believe me, some people have done that. So that is the word. How do we keep our assets and how do we keep beating the competition? Well, actually, to stay on competition a little bit, one of the things that bothers me the most is that in terms of competition, we're not even capturing the demand that's within our own region. And that is one of my goals as a port director, executive director, is that, hey, we generate so much good need for goods, and we generate so much demand for travel just within the East Bay region. Come on, guys, let's at least capture that business to go to the port of seaport and the airport. Yet I have news for you. We don't. Just take the airport, because that is the subject of the slides that we're showing you. The East Bay region, everywhere from Walnut Creek, Concord, all the way down to San Ramon. In fact, if you flip the page that you have on your desk, you see the region. In fact, I'll actually let you on a secret. You do two circles on the Oakland, Berkeley, Emeryville, Oakland. And then we sort of circle the Walnut Creek, Tri-Valley, Bishop Ranch area. Why do we circle that? That is actually the fastest growing economy. One of the fastest growing economies in California is in fact in the East Bay region. And we, together, that area between Alameda and Contra Costa counties, accounts for about 53% of the total San Francisco Bay Area region population. 53%. In fact, 53% of the population in East Bay live closest to the Oakland International Airport than any other port in the Bay Area. So you would think, naturally, we should capture about 50% of the business, right, in the airport? Well, I got good news, bad news for you. We only have 15% of the traffic through our airport. And 70% is San Francisco. That should not be. That should not be. In fact, United Airlines, I don't know if anybody worked for United Airlines here, decided that they were going to pull out of the Oakland airport decades ago and simply invest in San Francisco. And because they feel like, well, it's no big deal. Their customer base, although a huge chunk of their customers come from Oakland, Berkeley, Emeryville, and the East Bay region, they feel like, well, they can fly out of San Francisco and you just have to travel over there to catch your flights. That is capturing our market. We need to capture that market in the port because we need those jobs, we need that economic development, and we need those tax dollars in the East Bay and Oakland. So, in order to do that, we need to expand. We need to expand both our infrastructure and expand our resources here. And this is the ask of this group. You're all very steep, you have your sphere of influence. In fact, we have people going to run for city council and the city attorney's office. Good luck to you. I'm really glad you are, because you're adding to some very important dialogue in the city today. We need you, the Port of Oakland, now that you heard that we are your assets, we are your economic development, we need to capture that market. We need you to advocate for us in this way. We need you to go advocate based on expanding our resources in the region. Based on what do we need to do as a city in this region to expand our capacity to compete, our capacity to bring those jobs in, to expand our resources. We're very good as citizens of Oakland and in our politics to always talk about need-based advocacy. What do we need? I need this, we need housing, we need this, we need that. Very important dialogue. but we need to have people who are going to advocate based on what do we need to do to expand the resources to pay for all that stuff. And therefore, that is very important for the Port of Oakland for you to help us do that. Having said that themes, that where are your assets, we need to be competitive and capture that market, and we need to expand that resource for the city. Let's talk about the airport a little bit. That's the next slide. Why do we need to do something with the airport? Well, how many people, oh, I hope you all fly on Oakland. Thank you. Even though next month I have to fly to Boston, and I'm so very sad I cannot get a direct flight to Boston, but I'm going to nonetheless fly out of Oakland Airport to Boston. But why do we need to do something with our airport? You all fly to Oakland. If you go through Terminal 1, which is that terminal that flies everything except Southwest Airlines, what does that look like to you? 1960s, right? It's very charming, it's 1960s. But with that charm means that our cargo in the background, our luggage area, our security, our internet, all our technology is totally outdated. We're no longer able to comply with the best standards today, or the security standards, or the intellectual standards of today's modern airport. That terminal needs to go and needs to be replaced. Even the new terminal, and we always refer as the new terminal that you fly to Southwest, guess what? That was built in the 1980s. So we absolutely desperately need to to modernize the airport. That's not very controversial. Well, actually, I'm totally gone from the script now. I know Matt's here, you're totally not talking about the slides here. Well, also, one of the reasons we need to talk about the airport is that we also have to capture our market. We need to think about the sort of projected demand for our airport. As the region grows, what is our passenger load going to look like? The airport is mandated by federal law to project the future demand into the next 30 years, 35 years, and that is the demand curve. We need to have a better airport to meet the demand. Along with that, the controversial part of this expansion and modernization plan is the expansion part. People always, we are going to plan to build 16 new gates, 16, Matt, am I right? 16 new gates along with the modernization. And that means that we have more capacity to fly to more direct routes, and we have more capacity to meet our international flights. Right now, we have a pretty good, robust international flight demand, mostly to Mexico, to South America. We have 2 gates for international, and yet you can't park 2 planes at the same time because those gates aren't wide enough for today's modern planes. So essentially, we have 1 gate. So we need to have that expanded. We need 16 more gates to meet that projected demand, and guess what? We need $3 billion to build this to renew and build this terminal. Huh? Yeah. well, we need contributions from you, but $3 billion means we have to go into debt, a big, huge debt. And in order to get that debt paid, we're going to have one of our airlines today, little known fact, our airlines today sign a month-to-month lease. In other words, Southwest tomorrow can just decide to pull out because they're not happy with us because they only have a month-to-month lease. We need to have one of these airlines sign a long-term lease with us so they can actually pay the debt with a reliable source of income. They're not going to do that if you're simply not going to add capacity to help their business grow. So we need both to expand the airport, to add the gates, as well as to get the financing we need. Now, the controversial part about this is that we have folks who are telling us, well, you shouldn't do that because we shouldn't fly anyway. Because yes, jet fuel is a source of air pollution, and we are absolutely working on technology to get that reduced. And by the way, the airport itself, aside from the airplanes, everything is sort of electrified. The little cargo carts, the plane land and they park at the terminals, they turn their engine off, they plug into our electric plugs at the airport. So things are electrified at the airport, we need to get the air fuel food down. But this concept that Oakland Airport needs to bear the brunt of greenhouse gas emissions and therefore not expand at all is something that says to me that we're not talking about resource building and expansion for the East Bay. Guess what? San Francisco is having a $2 billion expansion right now, and nobody's talking about they should not expand. So, next slide, please. So that's our modernization project, Terminal 1, Terminal 2. We need to, one other story. Whenever I go visit some other airports in the country, I do some of that. They're always very proud to show their baggage claim, their baggage processing area in the back. You always wonder what happens to your bag after it goes into the low slot. Well, I actually get to see some of those. They're pretty fascinating. They also have a very large area. It takes some acreage to do that. And yet, when people come visit us, we're very ashamed. We don't want to take you in the back because you will get hurt. So that's one area we need to expand. We need to expand our security areas as well. Next. All right, so that's the layout. When you drive to the airport, you do see that big old hangar that has always a big poster on it. That used to be the United hangar. Since you left, that hangar has not really been doing much. We plan to tear that down and build a new terminal on top of that. We do need to first improve the Terminal 1 so that it can be used while we build a new one, so we have a terminal at all times to do the capacity of the airport. Next. All right, those are things, seismic upgrade. Yeah, by the way, we're not seismically retrofitted in Terminal 1. Bring facilities, industry standards, bring back house infrastructure. That's what I'm talking about. Next. All right, this is the point I was trying to make. Those lighted areas are the areas we need to capture. So that brings us to the name change. I know that was very controversial with some of our folks. I get it. I'm very proud of Oakland. I've been a 45-year, I keep adding years to this number. I think 45 years resident of Oakland. I myself, when I was confronted with a market study that said, hey, in order to expand your passenger and get airlines to fly more direct route to the Oakland airport, you need to have more people from Boston, from New York, and from other foreign countries understand where Oakland is. Because guess what? People who come to academic conferences at UC Berkeley think they have to fly to San Francisco airport because they don't know that Oakland is by Berkeley. I showed you that area, Bishop Ranch, the San Ramon area, the fastest growing economy in the country. They have people visiting their headquarters in those areas, and yet half of their customers fly through SFO, more than half, because they didn't understand that Oakland was there, right there in the middle. That's closer to San Francisco, an hour closer to their headquarters than San Francisco Airport. So airlines need both people flying out and people who fly out. We all know where Oakland is. That's not a problem. The problem is people who fly in from other destinations. Airlines need that backward flight, that second leg to come back. People out from other areas outside east of the Mississippi and internationally do not know where Oakland is. I'm sorry, they've heard of Oakland, they think it's in LA. Seriously, take a survey. People think that Oakland, well, I don't know, whatever reason, think they're in LA area. So they need to understand that we are in the San Francisco Bay Area, so that next time they decide to go to Berkeley to have a conference, they will in fact choose Oakland. And that is why we picked the name that is our right to pick, because we are, guess what, San Francisco Bay. We are right on the San Francisco Bay. For San Francisco to tell us that you don't deserve to name yourself San Francisco Bay, I look at my map and say, my God, we're on San Francisco Bay. You really are not in San Francisco. You're in Milpitas. I'm sorry. But, so that's why we named it. Not so much because of competition, but because we need people to understand that they need to fly to Oakland Airport for their business, for their leisure. If they're flying to the wine country, guess what? Who's closer to the wine country than San Francisco? Oakland Airport. So that is why the name changed, because again, it's all about leveraging our asset, getting our competition. We're not even going after San Francisco people. They can fly to San Francisco all they want. I want the people on the East Bay to fly out of the Oakland airport. And that is why we need that name change, we need the expansion, we need the modernization, we need to get people to understand that Oakland is to serve, and we need that job to come to Oakland rather than San Francisco. And the same story with the seaport, we need people to ship their stuff to Oakland rather than LA and Long Beach, but that's a whole nother story that I'll tell you some other time. But so that is why you're doing it, so thank you very much and for listening.
Thank you so much for sharing this information, and we have a couple of questions.
Thank you.
Isaac.
No, the Zoomers can't hear you. Yeah, no, we got something going.
Thank you, Jason. Isaac Cosfried, used to be chair of one of the committees, now I'm a member of the board. Danny, thank you so much for coming. Today I heard that Oakland is suing Southwest over sick pay. That's all I read, just the headline, just came out today. And I was kind of thinking to myself, that doesn't sound smart at this time to be suing one of your major employers that's your super duper numero uno tenant at the port. I know that's a tricky question, but I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, leave it to Abzek to ask me the hard question. Yes. Yes, very touchy subject. We did emphasize to the city attorney's office, who directed this lawsuit, that, hey, you are suing the largest for-profit employer in the city of Oakland. Southwest, if it's not the largest, probably the second largest, it's one or two, they toggle between some other, is the largest for-profit employer in the city of Oakland. And so, not to say that you do not have cause for lawsuit, but I urge the city attorney's office to think carefully and whether you've attempted to settle this issue before you sue them. I think I'll leave it up to her good discretion as to whether that is true or not, but it is true that Southwest is looking at this issue as a way to making their corporate decisions. By the way, the two things that Southwest talks to me all the time, every time I go talk to them about, hey, are you going to be our partner in this expansion? Remember that airline we need to sign a 10, 15-year agreement? Well, guess what? Southwest is the obvious target. They come back and ask two questions. What about the safety in that Harrisburg corridor? Are our customers flying to Oakland going to be safe? And we respond in kind to say we're doing every best we can. And by the way, crime is going down. They're somewhat happy with that answer. The second question is, what about this lawsuit? Is that really something that we cannot settle and come to an agreement on? That is something that the city of Oakland would have to answer.
I very briefly, what's the status of the San Francisco challenging the name change of the airport?
Thank you. So San Francisco is suing us for the name change. But a secret between you and I, we do pay a lot of money for advertising around the world to tell people that Oakland is in the San Francisco Bay. In fact, we did a whole campaign with Norwegians flying out here. That was fun. We did a whole campaign in England and other Norway and other European cities to tell them Oakland is in San Francisco Bay. And half of them thought we were talking about Auckland, New Zealand. But anyway, so we do that campaign. What was your question? I'm sorry.
About the lawsuit.
Oh, the lawsuit. So San Francisco obviously very threatened by this because they realize that their competition is going to be people who are going to fly out of the East Bay. So they sued us. We're going to deal with that lawsuit. Whether we win or not, it's up to the judge. But just as a matter of sort of little tidbit, that lawsuit, because of San Francisco's reaction, in my view, very big reaction, big overreaction, generated more publicity for us, for San Francisco Oakland Airport, than we could have bought with that amount of money. So come on, we'll deal with the lawsuit, we'll see if we win or lose, but it is going to be very positive.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Christine, I don't have time. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your insights. I look forward to working with the Port of Oakland in the future. You're a great employer, and contributor. We have a speaker's gift, and then our speaker's gift is a donation to Polio Plus, and we appreciate your time. Do you have any time to wait for a couple questions afterwards?
Yes.
Great. So anybody that would like to ask some questions, he'll stay a little bit afterwards. Please make sure that everybody welcomes our 2 new Rotarians as they're in the back, looking forward to having a handshake with you. And our goal is to send you out and make some magic in the world, because we need to make a difference. And I was supposed to say that after David promotes the next week's speaker.
You'll get to say it twice. Everybody take a card, invite a friend to a potential member party September 26th. Okay, next week we're going international. Next week our speaker is Daniel Freed. He is a 40-year career Foreign Service professional. He served as the U.S. Ambassador to Poland, the Special Assistant in National Security Senior Director for Presidents Clinton and Bush, and the Assistant Secretary of State for Europe for 4 years. He helped craft the policy of NATO enlargement to Central Europe, and in parallel has dealt with NATO-Russia relationships, thus advancing the goal of a Europe that is whole, free, and at peace. Ambassador Freed will discuss the relationships between the U.S. and NATO on the one hand and Russia, as well as the latest developments in the war in Ukraine. We're getting a true international expert who's involved day to day in this policy. Don't miss it next week at Oakland Rotary.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.